going to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Starehe Manor where I share with you my journey towards retirement. Today we're going to be looking at 10 tips on buying a lake property. So the first thing you want to consider is to research the shoreline history. This is history of the shoreline both during a drought as well as in the wet season, because during the wet season the lake usually moves closer to the land. As you can see my property right now, we had heavy rains last night and you can see the shoreline has moved closer to the shore, and there's even lots of pebbles that have been brought over by the waves. You don't want a situation whereby your property is too close to the water and you could end up having your house swallowed by the flood. So you want to build farther up away from the shoreline. Number 2 tip when buying a lakefront property is the direction your land faces in relation to the lake. So my case, for example, the lake is towards the west side of the land, so that means when I will be building, I will make sure to have my bedrooms facing either the east, the north, or the south, because I don't want to melt during the summertime because the sun sets on the west towards the lake, and I would like to have a view of the lake, especially of the sun setting in the lake. Number 3 tip when buying a lake property is to physically walk the property and get a feel of the land, especially when it comes to things like elevation and just even the texture of the soil. In my case, for example, I'm so fortunate my land starts from way up on the hill and it slopes down to the lake, which means that it requires somebody who is in physical shape. Thank God your girl here works out every single day, 5 times a week, and this is something I would like to maintain even towards my retirement. So just walking up to my house, up the hill, and coming down the lake is gonna be enough physical exercise for me during retirement. Number 4 tip when buying a lakefront property is to ask yourself how far away is the property from development. So in my property, for example, it's very remote area, very far away from civilization. So that means we don't have proper roads, no electricity, no sewer system, septic, which works for me because I am looking to go off-grid. So you want to ask yourself, how much of the luxuries are you willing to sacrifice? And when you're not willing to sacrifice, what alternatives are you putting in place? Number 5 tip when buying a lakefront property is to find a good agent that knows the lake property industry, because they're going to be able to guide you on such factors as what I have just talked about. Number 6 factor or tip when buying a lakefront property is to consider the hidden cost and expenses you might incur, especially if your property is further away from civilization. So here we are talking about the cost of sewer, cost of leasing the land if it's on lease, the cost of having the electricity, having the roads and all that. You have to factor those in your property. Number 7 tip when buying a lake property is to make sure that you do more with less and less with more, because of course this is your opportunity to not just have your home by the lake but also to have your vacation almost every single day. Last but not least factor to consider is the future use of the lake. So anticipate 5-10 years from now, how will living be like by the lake? So we are talking about there could be drought, apartments may block your view and the like, so consider that as well.